Hello everyone and welcome to Shell Pointed Day for Monday, February the 1st. I'm Dan Philgreen. On today's show, we'll hear about an academy class from Adrian Kerr that involves lunch and trivia. Also, Heather Batty will speak to us about how to move, feel, and live better with chiropractic care. But first, we want to remind you about this Thursday's Photo Club meeting in the Social Center at 2:15. The topic this month is abstract photography. You can bring an 8x10 abstract photo for the critics' wall. Also, Photo Club President Herb Sklar will talk about still life photography and the upcoming Shell Point Photo Contest and Show. Again, the meeting is this Thursday in the Social Center on the island. Earlier in the morning on Thursday, you can come to listen to some American music, traditional patriotic music that is. It may not be July just yet, but any time is a great time to enjoy this husband and wife music team as they blend their voices and instruments in songs of an earlier time. You'll also enjoy stories and a variety of acoustic instruments such as the 5-string banjo, guitar, and flute. The concert takes place at 10 a.m. in the Grand Cypress Room. Well, it seems this Thursday is quite an eventful day, as yet another music concert takes place in the evening at the Village Church. The Southwest Florida Symphony will be led by Maestro Nir Cabaretti in a colorful symphonic storytelling. The Symphonic Folklore Concert will feature the music of Mendelssohn, De Falla, and Copland, and it begins at 7:30. It's time for a different type of academy class with Professor Adrian Kerr. It's a Saturday lunch and a not-so-trivia quiz. Our vast world is changing. It's tough to keep up with the past, the present, and the constantly changing future, but this fun, interactive class will definitely keep you on your toes and your tummies full with a good lunch from Jason's Deli. The professor visits with Terry Kolath now to talk about what to expect in this class on the subject of the world we live in. And he even predicts how many trivia questions you'll get right.
Hello, I'm Terry Kolath. I'm here today with Professor Adrian Kerr. We're talking about something new and I think very exciting. On Saturday, we're going to have a lunch and not-so-trivia quiz. And Professor Kerr is going to challenge us on the world we live in.
Hi Terry, it's nice to be back at Shell Point. Yeah, this is something different and everybody loves competition. I mean, we've all done trivia and this is an application of trivia, but not in the biggest river or mountain. We've done all that. This is more humanities features. So I'm not going to give the game away because you'll scurry off to Google and do the research beforehand. But these will be penetrating questions, which I guarantee that 60%, no more than 60% of the people who come will actually score highly. In fact, I'll even challenge it and say that nobody will get more than 65% of the questions right.
Did you hear that? Rather a challenge from Professor Kerr. That's really exciting. So they're going to be hard questions, or they're going to be just interesting, odd questions?
That's a good. I would say they're not hard in terms of encyclopedic knowledge of strange dates or historical things. It's not that kind of a quiz. It's more humanity today. Trends across the planet, different cultures, and it's really quite a surprise.
And with all the traveling we do and all of our backgrounds, you still think 60 to 60?
I still think that nobody will get more than 2/3 right.
This is going to be so much fun. Thank you for kind of thinking outside the box and giving us a different kind of trivial pursuit.
Well, it excited me because when I started to look at some of these questions, I got an awful, I'm not prepared to tell you how many wrong, but I got more wrong than I should have done.
Really?
Because I had a fixed view of the world, and this woke me up a little bit.
Yes, it is a fluid world. Yeah. It's changing constantly. We hear it, we know it through our perceptions.
Yes.
But moving forward, we can't just stay in our own little perceptions, can we?
Well, I think, as I approach more mature years, my model of the planet is based on what I've learned at high school, what I've learned at college, and what I've read since then. But we tend to not keep up with events, and particularly we're not all great travelers, and therefore we hear things which we forget, we read things which we half remember and understand. Right. But then all of a sudden, 30 years have passed, and there's been some huge changes around the world that we've actually not observed.
And probably no one is in a better place to notice those trends and challenges than an historian who goes back now and sees what's happening throughout the world.
Well, certainly the historians and archaeologists can give a perspective of how we got from X, our fixed model of the world in the 60s and 70s, to the new world that we live in today, where the population of the world is driven not by Europe or the Americas, it's driven by China and India. And that's contorted our view of the world. And it's interesting that if you go back to 1600 or 1500, around that period, when the Americas had not been discovered or developed, Europe was still fairly backwards. The world was dominated by two great powers, India and China. And there's been this aberration called America, or the Americas, and the West. But now we're back to pretty much where we were in the 1500s, where the dominance in terms of people is in the East, and no longer is the West the dominant culture.
And how much does this rapidly changing technology affect everything? I mean, anywhere I've gone in the world, I see people on cell phones.
Correct.
You know, and they're downloading information. They're wearing Levi jeans.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to include this question because I'm going to give you the answer, but the question to you is, which is the city with the highest percentage of cell phone usage per the city? And you'd never guess it in a million years. It's Jerusalem. So
really?
there's an example of out-of-the-box thinking.
I would have said Delhi or...
Yep, this is percentage of the population.
Interesting.
Obviously Delhi and Bombay and Shanghai have more people,
but
in terms of percentage of people who have... So there's an example. Now that was 8 years ago and may no longer be valid, but it was interesting at the time.
It's very interesting. Okay, brush up. I guess you can't brush up, but bring your imagination and your knowledge of the world, and let's see if we can do better than 60 to 65% for lunch and a not-so-trivia quiz about the world we live in with Professor Adrian Kerr.
And now, Heather Batty of Resort Services has a new doctor to introduce to us who will be hosting a fun, interactive class designed to make you move better, feel better, and live better with chiropractic care. Dr. Timothy Harcourt visits with Heather now to talk about tomorrow's presentation, where you'll learn about the things that can empower you to move your health forward. Here's Heather and Dr. Harcourt discussing the services and benefits offered through chiropractic care.
Hi, I'm Heather Batty with Resort Services, and today we have a new doctor with us, a doctor of chiropractic care. This is Dr. Harcourt. Thank you so much for being here with me today.
Thank you for having me, Heather.
You are going to be doing an upcoming presentation for Health Connections here at Shell Point. And you are a chiropractic orthopedist. Did I get that right?
You got it right. Awesome.
It's a little bit of a tongue twister.
It is.
So, Dr. Harcourt, can you tell me a little bit about you and how you got involved with this practice, your practice?
Sure. Yeah, I practiced in Pennsylvania for 26 years, third generation chiropractor, come from a family of all different type of doctors, medical doctors, surgeons, and chiropractors. Here for 4 years, I practiced on College Parkway between Summerlin and 41 on the north side. And so a little bit about our background, we utilize the SONOMA method, which is an acronym for Subjective and Objective Numerical Outcome Measure Assessment.
Wait. Okay, let's back up. So what does that exactly mean?
Well, it means that we test patients with their percent improvement over time, so we're accountable to their improvement.
Okay.
It's based on research that we did with Penn State University, and since it's a university-based testing procedure, we offer that accountability to the patients. Also, it's approved to third parties and other interested individuals. Okay. So that's the platform that we actually treat patients with at the practice. So you could say that our treatment is more research-based. I also specialize in a subspecialty in chiropractic, orthopedics. So I'm board certified in orthopedics, and so those are things that we offer the practice. Okay. Some of the other things that we do workshops like we're going to do next week, which is exciting. We start from the brain down and talk about how important it is to have a good approach to life, starting with laughter is the best medicine. But also our thoughts can lead to health. They can also lead to other things, so it's important important to have the right attitude. We talk about how moving better, feeling better, and living better is the way to go on a macrocellular level. So we talk about all the neat things that can empower people to move their health forward.
Okay, so that is actually the name of the program.
It is.
Move better, feel better, and live better with Chiropractic Care.
Correct.
So does that mean I walk into your office and you're going to crack my back?
Not necessarily. When you walk into our office, we do a thorough history and examination to include a functional assessment to get a baseline on how well a person moves, what their flexibility is, the range of motion, their strength, identify deficits so that when we retest over time, we have something to go by, and we can see if we're actually making a positive improvement in somebody's life. So most people that come into us want a quality of life back that they've lost along the way. Not a lot of people come in and just say, I want temporary relief of a back pain. They're coming in because they want a portion of their life back. And that's actually what we specialize in, because we test improvement in their life through the research-based testing.
And I like how you pointed out that, you know, kind of if you think positive, it makes you feel better.
Absolutely.
And I can see that that's going to be kind of a big portion of your presentation. So if you're looking forward to this program, it's Move Better, Feel Better, and Live Better with Chiropractic Care. It'll be on February 2nd at 1 p.m. in the Grand Cypress Room. Thank you, and stay happy and healthy.
It's time to hear about the Valentine dining options happening later this month at the Palm Grill and the Crystal. But first, don't forget about the special concert series buffet tonight and on Thursday at the Crystal. It will be a special buffet-only dinner at a price of just $16. Now here's information about their Valentine's dining.
Come celebrate Valentine's Day with a special dinner at the Palm Grill. Saturday, February 13th from 4 until 8 p.m., you can enjoy live music and entree choices such as filet mignon, lamb chops, prime rib, Florida grouper, and salmon piccata. A special dish, the Loving Couple, consists of shrimp scampi and a petite filet mignon. There's also a sweetheart salad available and special Valentine desserts. Prices range from $21 to $29, and call-ahead seating is available at 454-2059. On Sunday, February 14th, enjoy a buffet brunch at the Crystal Room from 10:30 a.m. until 2 p.m., featuring carved beef tenderloin, carved oven-roasted turkey, roasted sweet pepper chicken, orange roughy, and a variety of hot vegetables. The Crystal's large dessert buffet will include the chocolate fountain. The buffet brunch at the Crystal, just $17.50 on Valentine's Day.
And now it's time to take a look at today's happenings, Academy news, menus, and Village Church connections. Right after this Listening to the Words preview from David Howenstein.
The preview of this week's Listening to the Words program begins with a memory of how an older brother rescued his younger siblings from a seemingly impossible surfing task before them. Next, fire and spirit demonstrated by the coach of his Olympic-bound rowing team. Another piece on the program is titled The Measure of a Man. It's followed by a news press column that includes these words: the mission would more likely be to force men to simply behave better. No more arguments settled with a frying pan. Then two humorous pieces, one about some very happy airline passengers, and the other that begins with a question. What two-letter word in the English language has more meanings than any other two-letter word? David Howenstein here to remind one and all that this 30-minute program appears on Shell Point Channel 12 every half hour, all 7 days from today through Sunday, giving way each Tuesday and Thursday for playing of the Village Church services. Or you and yours can hear Listening to the Words anytime at www.shellpoint.net/listening. Either way, thank you for listening to the words.
Hello and welcome to the Happening segment of Shell Point TV. I'm Caitlin Van Scoy and I'm here with Bev Chanley, and we're going to give you all of Monday's activities. We start at 8 o'clock with men's match play tennis at the Woodlands. Then we move to 8:45 for virtual bowling in the Resident Activity Center. Billiards will be played at 9:15 in the Resident Activity Center. And also at 9:15, the Lollygaggers Paddlers will be heading out for their weekly outing from the kayak storage. Pottery will be down in the Pottery Studio at 9:15. And moving to 10 o'clock, we have men's match play tennis at the Woodlands Tennis Courts. The Suzy Q heads out at 10 o'clock to Matanzas on the Bay. Sign up is required. And the Parkinson's Enrichment Group will be at 10:15 in the community room of King's Crown. At 10:30, the Disciple Men's Bible Study Group will be in the Woodlands Game Room. And at 10:45, the Table Tennis Playing Clinic will be held in the Tarpon Room on the island. We have an 11:30 Health Connections class, Bar Ball Edition, in the Health Club. And that wraps up our morning. Here's Bev to tell you all about our afternoon.
Thank you, Caitlin. We're going to start with 12 o'clock Mahjong played in the Sable Room of the Woodlands. And we'll have Samba at 1:15. That's at the Resident Activity Center. We also have the Tone Chimes in the Osprey Room at 1:15. Now we're going to move on to the Model Train Room, where it's open for tours from 1:30 to 3:30. And then we have a Health Connections class at 1:45, Balance and Mobility for Beginners. That's in the Health Club and is currently closed. At 2 o'clock, the Beady-Eyed Bead Club will be in the Oak Room down at the Woodlands. And we have a Health Connections class at 3 o'clock, Pilates Stretch down in the Health Club. At 5 o'clock, you'll find the singles table at the Crystal Dining Room available if you're interested. And at 6:30, the Beginners Square Dancing will be going on in the Health Club on the island. Also at 6:30, we have Duplicate Bridge in the Game Room of the Woodlands. At 7:30 is the time for the Duke Ellington Orchestra concert at the Village Church. You do need to have a ticket for that concert. And our last activity of the day is 7:30 Square Dancing at the Health Club. That's currently full. We're sure happy to see you here today, and we will see you right back here tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Terry Kolath with the Academy information for the first day of February, Monday. At 10:15, we have iPad apps in the Manatee Room on the island, and sign up is required. At 10:30, anybody interested in words can join the Anatomy of Words group in the Oak Room at the Woodlands. And at 1:15, a basic iPad class will begin in the Technology Teaching Center on the island. Sign up at either service desk. And at 2 o'clock, Personal Peace will take place in the Grand Cypress Room of the Woodlands, and you can sign up right at the door. I'd like to tell you about what's coming up tomorrow. Printing from your iPad with Penny Modridge of Nautilus.
Menus for Monday. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter is Salisbury steak with mashed potatoes and carrots. The dinner special is Old Home Cooking Night for $11.95. The soup of the day is tomato. In the Allen Cafe for lunch, the special is a chicken tender wrap with onion rings for $7.75. Or for dinner, the special is orange chicken with white rice and grilled vegetables for $8.75. And the Palm Grill is closed on Mondays. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Hi, welcome to Village Church Connections. I'm Andy Hawkins, the senior pastor of the Village Church, and I'm here with John Sappia, who's an international worker with the Christian and Missionary Alliance. And John, you've been with us for this Global Impact Week.
Sure have.
And you know, it's kind of remarkable as I've listened to your stories and some of the presentations that you've made, and I always learn things from our international workers, but I was really amazed that you actually have a connection with our stamp ministry here at the Shell Point Retirement Community. Well, and I want to know about that, yes. And I'm sure the people here at Shell Point would want to know about that, because I can tell you, when I first got involved in a Christian and Missionary Alliance church, probably about 30 years ago, up in Morgantown, West Virginia, we had people collecting stamps. Collecting used stamps.
That's
I
right.
thought that's really
right.
strange.
That's right.
And they would cut them out, put them in bags, ship them to some place called Shell Point. And I couldn't figure out what in the world they would do with those things.
The best part is, I grew up in the same reality in Brooklyn. My mom would cut these stamps, and she'd yell, "Don't throw that out! We need that stamp!" And they'd send it to Shell Point, and
Yeah, and so it wasn't until I actually came here I could see the stamp room and the wonderful people who work there and the enthusiasm they bring to the task. But what happens is those folks, collect them and cut them and organize them and then sell them, because there are dealers that really look for those kinds of opportunities, and some are obviously more valuable than others, but they buy lots of them, and they raise an incredible amount of money in a remarkable way. Since they started the stamp ministry, I don't know how many years it's been going, but they've raised over $900,000. Yes. That has contributed to some of the ministry initiatives of the Christian and Missionary Alliance. Yes. But you know firsthand of what the most recent ministry initiative that has benefited from that. So tell us a little bit about that ministry.
That's right. Well, we're in Paraguay, South America, and that's right next to Argentina. And the monies that is raised through the stamp ministries go to a publishing branch of the Christian Missionary Alliance in Argentina, where they develop Sunday school material, Sunday school curriculum, and it's excellent curriculum. We have a lady in our church who came in from the Free Methodist Church, and she was the Sunday school superintendent for the entire Free Methodist Church, so in Paraguay. So this is what she does: check on Sunday school material. When she looked at the material that we use, when she looked at the material from Argentina, she's like, "Wow, I need this material. This material is excellent." We've been using it for a long time in our Sunday school program. We work with a lot of children in Paraguay, and we've been using it for many years. I'll tell you one story. One of my favorite stories is about this girl named Andy, and I was able to share this story down at the stamp ministry when I went to visit the room this week. There's this wonderful girl named Andy who came to us from Argentina. She's Paraguayan, but her mom and her lived in Argentina. But when her mom died of cancer and her father was nowhere to be found, Andy had to move back to Asunción, Paraguay, where we live, and live with her aunt, who attends our church. And so she started to going to Sunday school, but when she showed up, she was addicted to cigarettes. She already tried drugs. She already tried alcohol. Her life was a mess. Yeah, and then her mom had just died. I mean, like literally that week when she showed up. So it was a hard time. But she started being involved in our church, and we started loving on her, and we started bringing her through our Sunday school program, where we use the material from Argentina that is made because of the monies that's raised from the stamp room here. And Andy, in time, actually, she surrendered her heart to Christ. She gave up her cigarettes, never went back to drugs and alcohol, and was the first baptized member of our church.
Isn't that remarkable?
Yeah, it was a beautiful day, lots of tears. So, and the neat part about Andy is she's grown up. This is years ago. She's 18 now, and she's one of my daughter's best friends, and they go to the mall together. But Andy has grown up not only physically, she's grown up spiritually. And she's actually a leader in our Sunday school and children's ministry. She sings in the worship team, and she wants to become a missionary.
How about that?
Yeah. She actually wants to become a nurse and then take her nursing skills overseas, but she had a problem. She didn't have the money to go to college, and she didn't know what to do. So she comes to me and she goes, "Pastor, how am I gonna go to college? I can't afford to go to college to learn to be a nurse, so I can be a missionary. What do I do?" And we prayed, and we began to pray, and it didn't take more than 2 weeks before the Lord answered this prayer. And she got a call from a family member back in Argentina, and he's like, "Andy, what are you doing with your life?" And she started explaining how she surrendered her life to Jesus, and she wants to go to school to become a nurse and go overseas and become a missionary. And the man was absolutely floored by this girl who's matured into this godly woman. But she said, "But I don't know how I'm going to afford it." And he goes, "Andy, you pick the school. I'll pay for it."
Isn't that remarkable?
And so she's currently in school right now learning to be a nurse.
Yeah. So this is one of those things that it's neat, I think, for the people, especially who work in the stamp ministry, but all of the Shell Point community, to see how those discipleship materials have brought this girl, not only who had just come to Jesus, but then really develop her and disciple her into that kind of godly woman. That's a remarkable testimony to what takes place every day at that stamp room.
That's right. Yeah. It's absolutely amazing. Yeah. And you know, sometimes we're here and we're cutting stamps or praying. Mm-hmm. And we wonder, is it really having an effect on the other side of the world? Right. And I can tell you, it really is. So don't stop. Don't stop cutting those stamps, and don't stop praying. Yeah. Here in Shell Point, your prayers here and your work here is changing lives on the other side of the world.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Great story. Thank you, John.
My pleasure.
And we thank you for joining us with Village Church Connections, and so we hope to see you soon.
And that will bring today's program to a close. This has been Shell Point Today for Monday, February the 1st. On tomorrow's show, we will learn about the electronic weather sensors on the property that assist the irrigation systems. And since it's Groundhog Day, maybe we'll find out if the furry little creature will see his shadow. Until then, I'm Dan Philgreen, thanking you for joining us, and we'll see you again tomorrow.